Good evening, everyone, and welcome to SUG Kolkata June session. Today we have Neham with us, and he is a four-time Sitecore MVP and a very known figure in Sitecore community. He is going to showcase on XM Cloud migration tool. So XM Cloud is a hotcake in Sitecore space nowadays. We are very excited to have this session on XM Cloud, and I will hand it over to Neham to share his insight on this. So thanks, Neham, to have this session.
Hey, thank you. Let me share my screen. Yes. So welcome everyone to the look at the Cycle User Group. So today I will be talking about XM to XM Cloud Migration Tool, which was released by Sitecore, and and I think it was there for some time. But I think we do not have that much traction, but it's a very pretty good tool if you have certain use cases. So my name is Nehemiah Jeyakumar. I'm a psycho architect at Cloud IQ and at Sitecore Technology MVP. You can read my blogs. You can follow me on the social media channel. So before we start, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity, and thank you, Chandan, for reaching out to me. Thank you for your for giving me the opportunity. And before, here is what we'll cover today. I will briefly describe the tool. We'll just discuss about what are the versions that are available and what are the comparison, what is available in the latest version, and how to install this tool and setting up this tool, some of the prerequisites used to use this tool. And there are two options to use this tool, and we'll discuss both of them, and we'll have a time for the question and answer at the end. Let's start with an introduction. This tool helps to move the content, users, and also the media items from your source Sitecore instance, whether it is a XM or XP, to the target XM Cloud environment. It acts as a middle layer that simplifies the task of entering your content, selecting your content, orchestrating in the migration. It is available both in the graphical user interface and the CLI for the automation. To give some background about this tool was introduced back in 2022. In 22, so it was when XM Cloud was introduced. So it was a shift from the traditional way of handling content to the purely headless and the SaaS environment. Since it's a SaaS environment, so we do not have that much of access to go into the system and deploy something. So many clients have reported some sort of like very hard to migrate and a time consuming effort to migrate the content to the XM Cloud. And it was impacting on the XM Cloud perspective as well. So that's when Sitecore invested and the Sitecore team worked on a tool and they released it. This tool was to simply the migration process. It's just to simplify the migration process to the XM Cloud. It was first released in SUCCON North America and released to the public in November 2023. The initial version 1.0 supported 10.1 and above. It supported only the migration of on-prem Sitecore installation and also only the media files that are stored in the database or can be migrated. So under the hood, this particular version, it has a dependency with your Sitecore CLI and the Sitecore content serialization. So whenever we talk about the CLA or the content serialization, we have a strong dependency with the Sitecore management service as well. So if you want to use this tool, so there is a dependency of Sitecore management service also, which should be installed in your source Sitecore system. When Sitecore users are migrated, because this tool can also help you to migrate your Sitecore users and invite them to the XM Cloud organization. So Whenever you want to migrate the users to the users with this tool will invite those users to the XML organization, and an invitation will be sent to the user email, which is available as part of the Sitecore user. So coming to the version 2.0, which is the latest version as of now. So, excuse me, which was released in October 2024. It supports Sitecore 9.1 and above. It delivers fast data transfer built on Google protocol buffers, and it no longer depends on the CLI. So that means there is no dependency on your Sitecore content management service or the content serialization. And it has been optimized to migrate large data in batches. So we'll talk about all this thing in upcoming slide. We'll also have a walkthrough of what this tool can do with these kind of updates. And one important thing which I want to mention is this tool can support on-prem as well as the PaaS installation. So that was the addition to the version 1.2. And as I was mentioning, that dependencies has been reduced a lot. So all sort of tool dependencies has been given as part of the Sitecore package, as part of the tool itself. So this tool also has been enhanced with some additional CLI commands, so which you can use it for your automation purpose as well. So similar to the version 1, this also has a limitation where the media items stored in the databases are only supported. How to get this tool? So this tool is available in developers portal, and the download archive has a GUI application, CLI application, and a dependency package, which you can install it in your source Sitecore system. And the documentation is also available here. Let's talk about the dependencies, right? So in the version 2.2, Sitecore has simplified the dependencies of this tool. So what does this mean? Sitecore has kept all the dependencies in a single folder called migration harness. It has the custom handler. It has all the assemblies which are required for this tool to work. So to explain in detail, let's talk about how to install this tool. And that's when we will talk about what are the changes needed from the source ecosystem perspective. From installation perspective, there are 3 steps. Okay, and that has been simplified as well. So in version 1, we had a different way of doing it. In version 2, everything is simplified. All dependencies are in a single folder, it's migration harness. It can be either deployed as part of Sitecore package, where you can go to the installation wizard and install that, or you can extract the content of your package and deploy it manually in your web root folder. This is specifically needed only for your current source ecosystem, which is not needed anything on the target XM cloud environment. Along with that, we have a set of assembly bindings that we have to add it to the Sitecore libconfig. The recommendation is just to take a backup of your web config and apply these changes, and then you can deploy it in your source system. Along with that, we have one more change, which is to update the Sitecore item services security policy to services on policy. So this helps the tool to get access to all entities and item services for this tool, so that the tool can read your source system and help you to migrate on the target system. So we did all this work on the source system. So what do we need from the target XM cloud perspective? So what we need is very simple on the XM cloud perspective. So we just need, okay, this is how we can patch it on the item services package. You can just enable it, services on policy, and you can deploy it in your source system. So from the target XM cloud perspective, so what we need certain details about what is your environment ID, and what is your content management URL, and what is your client ID, and what is the client secret. So when we talk about the client credentials, the client ID, client secret, it should be organization credential. It cannot be an uh, uh, Yeah, a credential which is specific to a particular environment. It has to be organization credential. The reason why, because this tool also can migrate the users. So when the users are being migrated, it has to be invited to the XM Cloud organization so the users can register and log in. So it has to be an organization credential. From the source system perspective, yeah, it's very simple. You just need your Psycho CM URL and your admin and password, which you can create a separate one if you want to use it specifically for this tool. So let's have a visual walkthrough of how this tool is going to work. All right. And for this particular talk, I have created a sample in sample items in your source system. So I have created almost like 31,000 items, more than 31,000 items in the source system, and I created in a folder called migration. Let's assume that this is a legacy kernel that we want to migrate to the XM Cloud access. So we will talk on how to use this tool with the graphical user interface first, and then we will discuss about the CLA as well. So let's say we want to migrate this migration folder to the target example access, and I'm going to use the GUI. So when you open GUI application, it provides an option to choose whatever migration that you want to do. You want to do content and media, or you want to also add for the users as well. So in this screen, you can choose the type of migration that you want to do. And in the next screen, you have to provide your current Sitecore instance details, the content management URL, your username, and the password. So in the next screen, you are going to provide some details about your target exemplar details. So environment ID, content management URL, client ID, and the client secret. So this tool also provides a way how you can get those information, where you can go and get the information in the exemplar. So as you might know, there's a pass and the things may change where these details are currently available. It can change anytime. So as of now, what are the instructions which are available in this particular tool? It is working, but you may not know that it can change as well. But it is very easy to find it in the exemplar data portal as well. So once your both the details are provided, um, that's when the tool is going to do some work. So it is going to check how whether your provided current cycle instance details are valid or not. If it is valid, then it is going to fetch some details from your source system. It is going to give the entire content tree as a tree view, and also it is going to give you some sort of checkboxes you can select, and then you can choose what you want to migrate. So one thing this particular tool has been doing is, in case if you have template and also the content at the same time, this tool will automatically give a high preference to the template first and then the content. It will automatically change irrespective whether you choose the template first or the content first. It automatically change to the higher preference to the template first. And once this detail is selected, and if your target example details are correct, then in the next screen, you will see a green message saying that it is working. In case if your target example details are incorrect, then you are going to get an error, and then you have to correct it as well before proceeding to the next step. So let's say if all the details are available, you have selected the item to publish to the XM Cloud. All sort of if everything is correct, when you click on migrate, the tool will do the magic. So it is going to serialize the items, not similar to the psycho serialization as part of the CLI. It is going to use the Google's protocol buff, and it is going to migrate in batches. So the screen will show each and every step, and also it also gives the time it takes to transfer the content to the XM cloud. And this tool also has some sort of built-in transfer job polling feature. So it is going to poll each and every certain amount of seconds, and it is going to see what is the status of this tool, and it is going to give you the status in the tool itself. So from my sample test, So this tool migrated all my 31,000 items to the Target XM cloud in just 11.2 seconds. It includes serializing the content from the source system, creating the batches, and then transferring it to the XM cloud, and then also um, like enabling it in the XM cloud as well. So it does everything in just 11.2 seconds. One thing I want to mention here is, so whatever the detail that you entered, like from the source system perspective, target system perspective, and what content that you wanted to migrate, and everything, whatever you entered from the GUI perspective, everything is stored in a file called app setting. We'll talk about this. We'll talk about this file in the upcoming slide, and then we'll talk about the CLI later. App settings or JSON file. So this particular file is not available as part of the default extract. So if you see here, there is no file available. But once you use a GUI or the CLA for the first time, the tool is automatically created. And what are the values that you enter from a GUI? Everything is stored and updated on the JSON file. And very similar to the CLI, right? Serialization. This tool also stores what are the items which are going to be serialized and sent to the XM cloud, which is actually very similar, but there are the attributes names a little bit different, and the options are very limited when compared to the CLI. There is something called content transfer scope. It supports only one option at this time, item and dissonance. It is going to migrate the entire content under that folder and to the target system. So there is no way to select and migrate only the parent item or only the descendant. There is no way you can do that. But as of now, if you select a folder, entire item and the descendants are going to be migrated to the target system. From the merge strategy, there is only one option at this time as well. It is going to override everything in the target system. There is no way for us to specify saying that, okay, if the items are already available, I don't want to migrate. There is no way it is possible at this time. Additionally, to support the migration large data volume, right? So Sitecore has added support to migrate in batches. Early in the 1.0 version, they were able to like serialize everything in the source system, then they had to push it. So there's a lot of time on the transfer time itself. So it takes a lot of time to transfer it to the target system. But here there are, since they have migrated to the Google Protocol Platform, there are two different settings that we can use to optimize the transfer. So one is the items per drive, which means the number of items to be included in a single batch file. So that means like too low number can result in large number of batch files are getting created. And also whenever too high, that means like there will be a big batch file instead of a small one, and it may affect the transfer speed. The default auto-generated file has around 10,000 items per batch. And there is one more thing called media size limit. So it also determines the maximum size of the media content that can be included in a single RAW file, that's batch file. The default auto-generated file has like 100 MB. So once it reaches 100 MB, it is going to generate another batch file. So that is going to ease your transfer speed, and it will be able to properly transfer and completely transfer without any sort of interruptions. So here's a screenshot of the app service JSON. I couldn't able to capture the entire screen grab of the entire JSON file because it's a big based on your selection. So if you can see what are the items that you have entered, like source system and the target example details, everything is being stored here. Along with that, what are the items that you selected that is also being stored here. So as a user, you can also edit it and you can change it if you want to change in a, you can use it for a CLI. Let's talk about the CLI. So similar to the GUI, you can also use the CLI. You can use the CLI for any sort of automation, and you can use it and add it to you as part of your release pipeline if you want to do any sort of migration regularly. One thing here is the same JSON file that you have been creating for the GUI, you can use it for the CLI as well. From GUI perspective, we don't manually create a JSON file, but when you use a GUI, the JSON file is actually created for you. So you can use the same JSON file for the CLI as well. So when you use the CLI, the CLI also, application also is there as part of the extract, and it is going to use the JSON file which is there in the same folder. Now, there are certain options which are available for you. One is content. So what does it do? It's basically just going to check what is available in the JSON file, what are the items which are being selected, what is the path, everything is there in JSON file, which is going to migrate assets from, I just read it, just migrate assets, what are there in the JSON file. And there is one more option is, in case if you don't want to specify the source system username and password as part of the JSON file, you can also pass it as part of the CLI commands itself. So what sort of parameters, what is your admin and what or username, admin and password that you can pass it so that it does not store it in the JSON file. And there are other options for migrating the users. So in Sitecore, you have multiple domains available. You can also create like some sort of custom domains, right? So if you want to migrate all the users of a particular user domain, you can specify that. So that like, it will just read all the users from the particular domain. It will just go to the Sitecore XM cloud. It will create the user and also invite those users and also send an email to those user emails as well. So to get help to the CLI perspective, you can use very similar to this Psycho CLI as a help or hitch or a question mark, which is going to give you all the commands which are available for you and all the sub commands which are available for you for the content as well. And one thing to notice, we need some way to troubleshoot if there are any issues, right? So before I go there, the CLI also has the same set of feature. In the same set of um, the logs are being generated, and whatever you saw in the GUI, and everything is also being shown in CLI as well. And how much time it takes, how much, what are the polling feature, everything is being shown in the CLI itself. So you have a very clear picture of what is happening whenever the CLI is being executed. To troubleshoot, so whenever you execute a job, whether it is a CLI, whether it is a GUI, this particular tool is going to create a log file under a folder called logs on the particular extract. So it is going to generate a single file for each and every time. So it is very easy in case if you want to troubleshoot, you can go to the log file, you can open it on a particular instance, and then you can see it. And that way you can troubleshoot as well. So, and you can also read it. You can also inject it in some of your other apps, app insights, or any other system to extract and see it in the browser itself. And next slide, I want to talk about on the performance side. I want to give a very big disclaimer that this is not official performance indicator. So this is basically from a limited test with around like 31,000 items from my one of my one of my source system. And this particular test that I did with my 31,000 item, it just took 11 seconds in both the CLI and the GUI. It also talks about, okay, like serializing the item, packaging it, and also sending it to the XM cloud and also showing it to the XM cloud, all took just like 11 seconds. That's pretty fast. It's promising, but the only thing is the use case of this tool is very limited. As you see, we're just migrating assets. We are not doing any sort of transformation between the migration. But there are a lot of use cases in certain company that you have certain amount of data that is being synchronized every time on a source system. We want to migrate to the target system as well, right? So this particular tool can really help you on that particular use case. There are a few things that you can keep in mind. So as I mentioned, this cannot do any sort of transformation. So if you want to make sure you want to do any sort of transformation from one template to another template, if you want to migrate the content where one template sending it to the multiple templates, splitting into multiple terms, that kind of things that you cannot do it. And also, if you make sure this particular tool migrate the content a proper way, make sure that templates are migrated fast. So before you, instead of before you migrate any sort of content, make sure your templates are available in XM Cloud so that migration works properly. And one another limitation is media items stored in the Sitecore DB, they cannot be migrated. Uh, but there are many less number of customer they use file system based media files, but most of them are using a DB perspective, so it is possible. And effective for migration large amount legacy content. That is the key use case for this particular tool. Uh, so if you have certain data that is not massive migration, just use this tool because that from the performance perspective, from my test perspective, that seems to be promising. But we need to see how in the real use case how this tool can really help you. But as I said, it's a limited use case. But yeah, this tool definitely help you on the use case perspective. There are some alternatives that you can think, like if, as you know, like Sitecore PowerShell extension can really help you. The only things you have to make sure that you have proper scripting knowledge of migrating it, like extracting it and then scripting it so that you can transform the data in between and then pushing it to the XM cloud. So PowerShell extension is one alternative in case if you have use case on transforming the content as well. Yeah, so that's all from my side on this particular tool. If you have any questions, yeah, you can let me know. We can discuss that. Thank you.
Hi, Nahem. Rohit here.
Hey, Rohit. Yes.
Thank you for the session, man. Actually, I have one question, man. What about users? If you have used in like source site code, a data authentication with Active Directory, can you use that in this migration tool?
Yeah, I think that is not possible. I think it's only for the users which are created in the Sitecore. So some sort of federated one, I don't think it is possible at this time.
And in personalization things, like some personalizations we implemented, those things that can be included in this migration tool as a site code tree.
Can you explain? Can you explain on this one? I couldn't get that.
Some A/B testing only, some simple A/B testing was there for some content items that can be fetched from the settings or only content media items.
Oh, yeah.
Personalization.
So yeah, that has to be very careful. Like I think if you're see there are certain items which has default in XM plot. So you cannot just simply select the entire content tree and try to move it. It won't work. You may fail. You may get some error. So it has to be more for content media and other sort of settings also it is very not recommended if you ask me. But if it is purely a custom content, it is possible. Any sort of out of the box content, let's not do that because that is going to error out on the migration side.
And one last question, Nehem, that is about if suppose the target content tree has same item is available there in the same hierarchy. So in that case, what should it test? Tool will fail or it will give the error that item exists already.
So as of now, this tool is going to override everything. That's what the feature that we have. Like there is no way for this tool to see if there are any content and if the content is there, let's not like it's not going to do that. It's just going to do only one thing. Like just take it, push it, whether it is available in target system or not, just going to override everything.
Thanks. No other questions then. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. I can see there's some hand raised. So please go ahead.
Yeah, that's me. It's Jason. Yeah, so I understand just like personalization, layouts and renderings aren't migrated because they can't be. It's going to a new platform. But do you have an example of, or can you talk through an example of where you migrated a recent customer's data across from XM to XM Cloud and had to recreate the components? Just high level.
Yeah, so I I think see what I understood is that any sort of custom item that you created which is not out of the box, which is possible to migrate. But only thing is, it is going to migrate on the same path. Like if your target system is also available and if it is available for you to migrate, it is possible to migrate. But otherwise, any sort of out of the box folders, if you try to migrate, it actually failed for me. So it was not able to migrate.
Okay, cool. So it's just migrating the items and templates, and then if it's something custom, recreating it on the other side. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, channel inside. I have one question. So, Neem, when you are saying about the content means anything, right? In the entire content play, workflow, goals, event, anything, everything can be migrated, right? Yeah. And the second part is like,
Yeah.
And the second part is like, so many times we have a content in the core database. So if you want to migrate those details, so is it possible using the same tool? Because I can't see the option of selecting the database.
Yeah, I think it is not possible at this time. But I want to be very careful with this also. See, XM Cloud is a PaaS environment, and as of now, it is open for you to customize as much as possible. We do not know when this is going to be restricted, okay? Because any sort of customization, it is being discouraged at this time, right? I'm not sure about the core database perspective. As of now, it is available. We don't know what is their psycho strategy perspective because it's a SaaS environment, and they want to keep their system up and running. They don't want our customization to break their SaaS environment. So anytime, maybe in future, they may also restrict modifying the core database. I don't think it is. They won't do that, I believe, but we do not know. But as of now, this tool cannot do that. That's what my understanding is. It does not have a way to select whatever database and everything. Maybe in future they may do that. Like even my suggestion for Psycho was to like thinking like how can we keep this tool as an open source, which can help the team to like in the community to expand this. But there are some sort of important things like what API is being used to migrate the content to XM Cloud. That may be a proprietary way of doing it that they don't want to expose it. That may be the reason why they don't want to open source this tool. I do not know, but I hear in one of the last talk that I was talking to one of the Psycho person, and he also mentioned that they may be going for another version also. So I don't have any confirmation, but maybe in the future version it may be possible.
Thanks, Neil. I think we don't have any further question from any side.
Any other question? Yeah, I believe that's all.
Yeah.
Nehemiah, thank you very much for the insightful session. I believe everyone enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for giving the opportunity. Thank you, guys.
Thank you all for joining the session.
Cheers.
Bye.
No, thanks, Neil. Bye.